Today has been a huge day when it comes to XRP. This is something that we've been talking about for several weeks now, not only on this platform, but also on X. It has been something that has become so mundane, talking about the fact that not enough people are paying attention to the breakout that's happening with XRP. And it has really been the star of the show. Both XRP and Ethereum have been doing extremely well. XRP more specifically so, since it has now passed all-time highs. This is something that we've been talking about. We've been showing charts of this over and over and over and over and over again. There's a lot of news about XRP, where it is headed next. Is XRP's run over? Where is Ethereum headed next? Ethereum's still far from its all-time high. Is altcoin season here? We've seen Bitcoin dominance continue to drop. Or is this just a small bit of a little micro altcoin season and everything is going to rotate into Bitcoin after? The House passed 3 crypto bills. They are headed towards Trump for signature. There's a lot of very, very bullish news that came out today. A lot of exciting things that could be happening over the next couple of weeks. We're going to dive into that and more in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Alex. We provide daily crypto news updates, so that way you are always up to date on everything that's happening in the crypto space, so you can make the most informed decisions based on that. If you enjoy content like that, consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like. Without further ado, we'll let you into the video. So when you take a look at the altcoin season chart, we are starting to get into levels of euphoria that we haven't seen in a little while. And we're starting to see this number go up dramatically. We're seeing alts at almost a new high in the last 3 months. And a lot of this is driven specifically with the likes of what we're seeing with the Bitcoin dominance dropping, Ethereum increasing in valuation, increasing in price, and more importantly, XRP increasing. And this is more significant over the last 30 days because this, if you take a look at just in the last 30 days, this has been a dramatic increase from essentially altcoin season index has doubled in just 30 days, which is kind of relative to the price of XRP and Ethereum doing extremely, extremely well. There have been other alts that have rallied, but really Ethereum and XRP, because they are a significantly larger market cap, when they increase by 60%, it adds tens of billions of dollars to the altcoin market cap, because we're not seeing as much increase in maybe the smaller altcoins. And I say smaller, they're still in the billions, but some of the smaller, not as top 5, top 10 altcoins are still not yet blowing up. And I think that's why we're not at the euphoric stage of the altcoin season. The yearly high being in 2024, the index was at 87, right? And we're only at 38. We have not even begun altcoin season by any means of the word. And so I think in many ways, once we surpass on the index scale 40, 50, 60, then we're really starting to get things to be really, really spicy. 70, 80, then things are blowing up. But right now, things aren't blowing up unless you're an XRP holder. And I've been talking about this non-stop for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And more specifically, because it's so easy to see when you look at the technical analysis. And you don't have to be an expert. I'm not a TA expert. I don't have a degree in TA. And you don't have to have a degree in TA. For people that have been doing it for 10 years, I've not been doing it for 10 years. And it doesn't take someone who's been doing it their entire life to be able to realize what the setup looks like. And we've been talking about this nonstop, especially this specific chart that we've had, these specific lines that we've had for weeks, saying these are the next levels. If we get past these levels, then new all-time highs are coming. And that is exactly what has happened. We've showcased, if you watch the videos, you look at my X profile, talking about this for weeks. Because before when we were down even below $2, I said the next level of resistance is going to be around $2.50. If we break past that, we're going to $3. We're going to stay at $3 for a second. We're going to, this is on a daily chart, but if we go over to the 4 hours, you can see the fact that once we hit $3, we tested that, we came back down below it because that was going to be a high level of resistance. Once that $3 was going to be a level of support, which is exactly what happened, right? So if you look at this, right, this is as perfect of a chart as you could ever have in crypto. You see a break above $3. It's a level of resistance, so it goes down. It tests that once again. It breaks down, but it doesn't break down below it. Now that $3 is support. It's not resistance. It's now support, and new all-time highs I told you were going to come. New all-time highs came, and it has been an exceptional ride. I have people that I've talked to that have had very long positions alongside of myself in XRP that are enjoying themselves and popping some champagne to celebrate. And this is what I talked about. This was, I don't know, what was this, 6 days ago? This was a week ago. And a week ago, when you take a look at the XRP price, a week ago, what's that? The 10th of, I didn't mean to click that. The 10th of July, right? So even back here, 10th of July, XRP was at $2.39, right? $2.39. This is what I was telling you guys about XRP. And if you are an XRP holder, you've been waiting for this day to see this massive breakout within the XRP, and it is finally happening. I talked about this on X, saying that I was very, very bullish on the fact that XRP had a breakout coming. This is why I had a pretty large, conservative, large 5x leverage position on XRP that increased to 10x leverage because I was very, very bullish on the next breakout. So I did make about a 50% return on platform through Hyperliquid. But either way, I think there's still a lot more room and a lot of gas in the tank for the likes of XRP. You take a look at this, it's not even back to $2.60, this prior resistance. A pretty strong resistance level here, right? So you saw this being very, very strong resistance before in the past. You see this 1, 2, 3 support here, resistance, resistance, resistance. So this $2.60 range, if we break above that, I think we're going all the way to $3. So hold on to your seats. I don't know why I said hold on to your seats. So it has happened exactly as predicted. This is really picture perfect. But in the end, this is a trade, right? It doesn't mean, because I think there's a lot of potential in XRP. There's a lot of potential in different cryptocurrencies, but this is simply a trade. And so when people out here like this individual decided to say that XRP is a scam, and some people commented, hey, don't be promoting, because I'm a big believer in what Kaspa does. Kaspa has a lot of very great things happening for it, but Kaspa simply has not been performing from a trade perspective. The technology is phenomenal. The technology surpasses many types of technologies when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But when you take a look at from a trade perspective, from a pure trade perspective, in the past month, XRP up 62%. When you take a look in even more so, in a shorter period of time, Kaspa is starting to slowly move. And I think there is a lot of opportunity. Kaspa's only up 33%. I would have made 2 times my money putting a trade on the likes of XRP than I would have Kaspa. It is simply a trade. Long term, does that mean I rotate my profits out of XRP, which are double? Now I can buy double the amount of Kaspa. That is a smart decision. XRP is in many ways peaked, right? There could be further peaks. There could be future tops. Even the likes of when you take a look at ETH, right? If you take a look at Ethereum right now, Ethereum is a better trade right now than XRP. It's a better trade than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at all-time highs. XRP's at all-time highs. People are, if alt season truly does happen, people are going to rotate into cryptocurrencies that are not at all-time highs. And that is why I think we are seeing XRP rally. We're seeing Ethereum rally. We're going to start to see the likes of Solana, Cardano, AVAX, Link, altcoin season, as altcoin season is, for those of us who were around in 2021, 2020, there is going to be a euphoric alt season, and the big winners aren't going to be XRP. It's not going to be Ethereum. It's going to be some of these other altcoins there's going to be a lot of winners, right? There's going to be ones that go up 100%, but there's going to be ones that go up 200%. And I want to be the one that goes up 200%, not the one that goes up 100%, right? When you take a look at the upside potential in Solana is still not at its all-time high. So when you take a look at what is a better trade now to rotate profits into, now that XRP is at all-time high, Bitcoin's at all-time high, look at Solana, look at Cardano, look at Caspa, look at the AVAX ecosystem, look at Link, look at all these other altcoins that have a lot of potential, that have a lot of great things coming, a lot of good catalysts. Those are going to be the money makers in a incredible all season. So that's just my 2 cents. A lot of this is going to be happening due to the fact that the U.S. House passed 3 key crypto bills ahead of the August recess, which is pretty important because obviously you didn't want to keep people in limbo because that could have really kept things sideways. I think it could have really kept things back if this was something that was not decisive. But luckily this got passed. This is huge moving forward for crypto. This is expected to be signed by Trump. I think is going to be super, super awesome. And when you take a look at has Bitcoin season ended because of its dominance, as these bills get passed, there's going to be a lot of alts that benefit massively from this as well. And that is the bigger question, is alt season coming and has Bitcoin season ended? I think in many ways, Bitcoin is taking a break, right? This is typically how we see things. Bitcoin rallies, it takes its break. People rotate into everything else that hasn't rallied. That takes a break. People get back into Bitcoin because it's not, they would take their profits, go back into something safe. You're just going to kind of see this rotation happening a little bit as the market goes higher. And that's not a bad thing. And one of the things I think that will take Bitcoin higher is this specifically as far as allowing crypto, gold, and private equity and 401k retirement plans. Now, I think having Bitcoin in a retirement plan in a 401k is really, really smart. And one thing I really wish, for those of you who are military like myself, you know what a TSP is. And for me, I would absolutely love to have my TSP to have Bitcoin. Because when you look at the performance, when you look at the different funds that are available through TSP, there's not one that has Bitcoin. And I think if that was to be introduced, there would be a lot of people that would probably look at taking some of their standard life cycle funds that are your generic ones, maybe getting out of ICS, all these other options, and putting 5, maybe 10% into something like a life cycle fund or a fund that has some Bitcoin in it, that maybe has some Ethereum, that maybe has some different cryptocurrencies available in it, to have that access to maybe something higher risk, higher reward, right? I think that would be absolutely huge. It would be a huge win, not only for for TSP, but it would be huge for military members that maybe want to have some exposure to crypto. That's just at least my 2 cents there. Some other things happening as well, and I think these are the 2 other things that really want to highlight. We are going to continue seeing this type of news come out. You know, Joe Lubin backed SharpLink Gaming moves to sell $5 billion worth of common stock to purchase Ethereum. This is why I'm saying Ethereum, I think, is one of the better trades. I think it's slightly better than Solana until we see some crazy Solana acquisition companies. Right now, Ethereum is a really, really good trade because there's a ton of news and billions of dollars of it being bought up, right? That type of news is just going to cause momentum to continue. And this is $5 billion is double the current market cap of SharpLink. So it just goes to show you how much Ethereum they're looking to acquire. It is a stupid amount. I mean, maybe not double, but at least 60 to 70% higher than their current market cap. And when you look at from a performance standpoint, SharpLink, when you look at, you know, maybe you want to get into alts that perform really well. The better performers are actually the stocks. The companies that are acquiring the crypto, the underlying crypto asset, are performing better than the crypto asset itself. And that's just really the state of the market right now. Sharplink Gaming up 204%, over this period of time, over the past month. You take a look at Ethereum in the past month. Ethereum is definitely not up. In the past month, it's up 38%. It's not up 204%, right? So very, very vast differences and very, very different returns. So maybe if you want a little bit of exposure, having some of the opportunities, looking at Sharplink Gaming, looking at some of the others, Bitmine, Immersion Technologies that are acquiring a ton of Ethereum. As Ethereum goes up, these are going to go up exponentially more. Some things to be obviously keep an eye on is as they issue more, sell more stock, obviously there's liquidation. So some things to consider as far as on the back end. But the last thing I really want to highlight, I'm not going to play this video, but this is huge when it comes to something that Trump is looking to push out. Obviously, Trump is against a central bank CBDC. Already signed an executive order banning it. She also says the admin supports a 600 de minimis, I believe that's Latin, de minimis. I learned Latin when I was in high school. But either way, exemption to make crypto payments easier. So what that essentially means is it makes purchases less than $600 to be tax-free, which I think is super, super awesome. A threshold below which certain imports are exempt from duties, taxes, some customs proceedings. So I think this is super, super interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this impacts Bitcoin. But this, I think, could be something really, really interesting to see how this overall impacts as far as crypto payments. A $600 de minimis, however you pronounce that. So either way, I think it's really, really bullish. It just goes to show how much Trump is interested in making the United States a clear winner and focus as crypto expands and as crypto becomes more and more adopted. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially as it comes to XRP. Is XRP peaked out? Has it topped out? Is it going higher? Are we going to see a double-digit XRP in this cycle? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You enjoyed this video, smash it the like. You enjoy content like this, consider subscribing. And until next time, guys, stay invested.